Hey guys, welcome to my O Canada podcast. And this is my first episode. And today I will be talking about the reason why I came to Canada and the process of getting here.
Woke up this morning, the sun in my eye. No stress, just glad to be alive. Wash my face, step out, take a dive. It's a brand new day, I'm grateful.
That's right.
I'm checking my pages. Got time for no haters. No hate.
Now, for those of you who don't know, I am originally from Jamaica. Yes, I'm a Yardie girl, island girl. Big up to all Jamaicans, both Yard and foreign. All right, so from time to time, I meet people, I talk to people, and they'll be like, why leave Jamaica? It's such a beautiful country, the sunshine, the nice beaches. Most people, like here in Canada, they go to Jamaica for vacation, and they're like, oh, it's so beautiful, the nice weather. Why do you leave the nice weather to come in this cold, freezing country and all of that, right? But for me, there was a period in my life when I kind of felt like I was stuck. You know, when you reach a phase in your life, or you just think that you're not seeing any more growth, you're not seeing any more opportunities, and you start to think that, okay, I need to find somewhere else, or I need to find something else. I just felt like, okay, going to school, going to college, going to university, getting the corporate jobs and, you know, all these things. But at the same time, you're still not at the level that you would want to be. You're still not at that level where you are feel that your education has been fulfilled, your career goals have been filled, your family goals, your whole self-actualization. And that is why I know a lot of people can relate to that, and that is why I started to research. Okay, and I start to look at places that have, you know, things that I need and things that I want in my life. And that's how I ended up landing on Canada. Now, I had been looking at the UK, England, the USA, Canada. I've traveled to these places before for vacation, to visit family and friends and all. And I was also researching on opportunities and ways to migrate to these countries. But I ended up choosing Canada. And the reason why I chose Canada is there are like some main things that stood out for me for Canada. And one of the main thing was the fact that I was able to file for permanent residency in Canada for myself and for my family. Okay. There are other things I look at, for example, the standard of living. You know, Canada is known for high standard of living. There is free healthcare benefits. There's free education for, you know, your kids up to secondary level. There's jobs, lots of jobs. I must say that there's a lot of job opportunity. So there's a lot of room for growth and upward mobility, and a lot of room for you to increase your standard of living. Okay. There's opportunity for you to go back to school without having to worry so much about how you're going to find the finances for your university or for your college. If you want to change career, sometimes people stuck in their career because they don't see themselves being able to go back to study for another year or 2 years or 4 years. But Canada has all these opportunities, and these are the things I researched and found out about Canada, hence the reason why I made the step to come here. Now, as I had mentioned, like the main thing, or the thing that stood out to me the most, was the fact that I could actually apply to become a permanent resident and eventually turn a citizen without someone having to file for me, as we would say, or sponsor me. Okay. So when I research other countries, for example, the United States of America or the UK, I found that there are programs, like there are teacher programs, there are school programs, there are healthcare programs, there are various programs, but I wasn't even in those career field, or any engineer or anybody in IT or things like that. Hence, one of the main route, or the route that I would have to take to go to those countries, was to find somebody to get married to, and that would cause me to have to make some drastic changes in my life that a sister didn't plan on doing. So, hence the reason why I was so happy that I could actually apply for permanent residence for Canada and be able to sponsor myself and my family. And here I am. And I'm here to tell you all the scoop. I'm here to tell you how I got here. Here to tell you how you can get here also. The different ways, because there are actually different streams and different processes and different categories and all of that that you can actually file for yourself or apply to or start the process of getting to Canada and eventually getting your permanent residence and getting your citizenship. All right, guys. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna give you the scoop. All right. All right, guys. So I know you're there. Okay, you're wondering now. All right. Okay, she went to Canada. She chose Canada, and all these nice things about Canada. But how do I really come to Canada? Like, what do I need to do? Or what are the different ways or the avenues of me coming to Canada? All right, so I want to talk a little bit about that. Now, how Canada does their thing is they have different streams that they would call it that you can actually immigrate here, right? So, for example, you could come as a student, all right? So, say for example, you could come as an international student. So, they have the opportunity where if you have the finances and you are able to pay for the international student tuition, you could actually apply to colleges and university in Canada. And then after getting accepted to those in one of those colleges or universities or so, you would apply to the immigration for a student visa or a student permit, and you could come as an international student. All right. There's also what is called the federal skilled worker. These are what we call economic class. The federal skilled worker program is where people who have experience in different field, work experience, who have the educational background and all of that, can actually use these things to apply under the federal skilled worker program. So say for example, someone who is a nurse or even someone who is in an administrative position, like an administrative supervisor position, somebody who is in banking or so, or in the financial industry, and you have say 3 to 5 years working of experience working as a supervisor at a bank or any form of administration position, or being a nurse, being a doctor, you could actually use your years of experience and your educational background. Say, for example, if you have a diploma from college or you have a 4 years university degree, undergrad or whatever, you could use these things to apply to come to Canada under the federal skilled worker program. And for those programs, you would also need to show some money, right? Further on, I would actually get into the money that you would need to show for yourself as an individual applicant, and if you have dependent or if you have spouse or kids that you want to accompany you to Canada, then I will get into a little bit more details about the money you would need to show, the paperwork that you will need to show, and the application process. Your girl's gonna give you all the scoop. Don't worry, I'll be telling you all of those things. I'll basically going in detail, and I'll also providing you with some resources like the websites that you can actually look on and all of that, right? There is also what is called the temporary foreign worker program, and this program includes, for example, caregivers. For example, health caregivers. There's used to be the nanny caregiver program or the nanny program. Some of these programs are temporary on hold. They have been on hold since 2019, since COVID. But these were programs where if you have any form of education and experience being a caregiver in your home country, being a nanny, being, say, for example, a practical nurse or a personal support worker, as what we call it here in Canada. In the US, they call it like a CNA. You could actually apply to come to Canada and you get a work permit and you come as a temporary foreign worker. Okay. With these programs, however, you would have to have someone in Canada who hires you or who offers you a job. Okay. And then when they offer you that job, you would use that job to apply for the work permit to come here to work. Okay. For persons who have capital, for persons who are entrepreneurs, who want to start a business, if you have experience in managing or owning a business and you have the capital, you could actually come to Canada as an investor. So you could actually put together your business proposal plan and show your finances, and you come here and you actually get landed as a permanent resident operating your business. But you really have to show them what business you want to operate, what finances you have to operate that business, and all of that. Okay, so if that's something for you, or if that's something you're interested in, you could also do that. Okay. There People sometimes ask which, which stream is the easier. Okay, now what is easier depends on the individual, because every individual has unique situations. Okay, for me personally, the easiest way, no joke about it, no way of going around it, the easiest way, if you have someone to sponsor you, if you get married to someone and you can get a spousal sponsorship. I'm just going to be frank. It's the easiest way. If you get married, you're in love, you have a nice little thing going on, the person actually can sponsor you. That's the easier. Normally, those applications before COVID, they would take like 6 months. Okay. However, not everybody want to go through that route or go down that route of having to get married to someone. There are people who are already married, people who are already in a committed relationship, people who are single, but they just don't want to get tied, hooked. So they would want to just do their thing independently of someone sponsoring them. So the other route, or the next best route, would be to come as an international student. When you come as an international student, you actually go to school here for a year or two, or if you want to do the 4 years, it's up to you, depending on your educational goal, depending on your finances and all of that. After you finish school, you get what is called a postgraduate work permit. And after working on that postgraduate work permit for a year, you are eligible to file for permanent resident for yourself and your dependent, or your spouse, or your kids, or whomever you have that you want to add to your application. So that, I would say, is the next easiest and next best route for coming to Canada. Okay, so that was the method I chose to come to Canada. The method I chose was to come as an international student. So yes, I'm getting into it now, how I got here. So I came as an international student. As I was saying to you, that is actually the next best way of coming. And I am going to tell you all about that process in episode 2 of my podcast. I'm going to let you know how I applied to school, how I applied to Immigration Canada, all the paperwork, all the steps, what to expect, what to do, what not to do. I'm going to give you all the scoop. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later in my next episode of O Canada. Peace out.